All right, here we go. We are holding, yes, 68, and we are like, after the beginning, 60, paragraph 8. Yeah, I figured. That's why I said 60, paragraph 8. That's what I mean. So as we said, Chazal Dashan on the pasuk, Valeo letrufo, l'hatir pe ilmim, l'hatir pe akoros. That the Sikh of Talmidei Chachamim, the teaching of the Chachamim, Valeo letrufo, is to untie the mouth of the mute and to untie the mouth of barren women. When you're waking people from their spiritual slumber through Sipurim Maisim, this is a b'china of Alel Trufa. That's the leaf of the tree that is going to grow on the banks of the stream. Is going to come out of Beis Hamikdash. Mashiach will come. It's going to be, that the fruits will sustain people completely. The waters will desalinate the waters of the entire world. When it comes out of Beis Hamikdash, it's just a little crack, and by the time it gets to the sea, it's enough water to desalinate all the seas in the world. And the trees that will grow on the banks of that, it's the trees will sustain everybody in the world, and the leaves of that tree will be a remedy for all ills. The aleo letrufa, and its leaf will be the trufa. It says already now the etz, it signifies obviously the Torah, the Sipurim Maisis, especially the Sipurim Maisim Shanu Kadmonius, that the tzaddikim tell us, and they will tell us was his birthday today, is it brings about lehatir pe'ilnim, it opens up, it unties the mouth of those who cannot speak. But while they were asleep, they could not hear the service of the Chacham. Because fortunate is he, says the Zohar, who is zeicher to speak from the ear of somebody who actually listens. But they were like deaf. They couldn't hear at all. That's why they couldn't speak. Rabbeinu says that this comes out what's got to do with one another, because they could hear him, okay. Well, why can't they speak? Because the principle is stam cherish, cherish shoyte v'kotor, not potter from kind of mitzvahs, they're not kosher to all kinds of mitzvahs. We're talking about cherish, or the classic cherish is she'eino shomea ve'eino medaber. He cannot hear and he cannot talk, and therefore, and when we're saying when somebody is spiritually asleep, means that he is spiritually deaf, which means he cannot hear the words of the Chacham, which awaken, and Mimele cannot speak the words of Lati Pe'ilmi. He cannot talk. And now, when he hears the Chacham, and he hears his words, now you can speak holy diburim before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we touched upon this nekuda the last time, that the difficulty that we have in speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now the thing is, it's always difficult to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When a person is in great distress and he cries out, that's one thing. But on a regular basis, to disengage yourself from this world and turn over and speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu takes a great effort. I mean, that's the tachlis. What do you expect? You expect the Yetzer Hara to hold your coat and cheer you along? Obviously, it's difficult. But when we don't have the resolution, we're not resolute to force ourselves, to break, quote unquote, no pun intended, to break the sound barrier, as it were. And because Isbaitis is always like that. You sit and you talk, and rarely, it's the words flow from the moment go. Usually you have to go there and you have to work through the barrier, to free yourself of the gravitational pull of Elam Hazard. I don't know, it takes 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes to each person. And if you manage to hold on, and the way to hold on is with Gemiras Das, is being resolute, being in action, being stubborn. I'm going to sit through this. I'm going to do it. And I'm bored, so I'll be bored. So what? I can get through, so I can get through. My heart doesn't open, so my heart doesn't open. I'm still before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whether I feel it or I don't feel it. And so it's himself, it opens up. But that kind of difficulty in actually find the inner strength to be resolute is commensurate with the kind of resolution that we have when we learn Torah from someone, how focused we are on learning in order lilmod ulamod lishmer v'lasos, to learn and to teach and to keep and to do. How much we do this, how much we mean this, how much we have this in mind, this is how easier it'll be for us to actually keep it, to actually apply it. If we are learning with the kavanah to apply it, it gives us the koyach afterwards to apply it, to start talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with it. It's never going to be, a la-di-da. We're never going to waltz into it. That's it. That's the tachlis of this world. That's the way it's Hashem. Rabbeinu says, "Isbeidus is ma'ala g'dayla min hakol," right? It's higher than all of it is Hashem. You're standing there before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, what does a creation has in this world more than his creator? What could be greater for a creation than to communicate with his creator? I mean, that's it. That's the name of the game. It doesn't become any better than that. But when you, now that you heard the Chacham and he woke in you, now you can speak Dibur Kedoshim. This is the thing that enables one to open up the mouth of the mute. When a person hears Sipurim Maisis, he awakens from his sleep and he can speak before Hashem's Baruch. As it says in Mishlei, Ptach picha la'ilim, open your mouth to the mute. And when this is done, when you start talking, you wake up and you start talking. There'll be you untie the mouth of barren women. That dibur. The fact that I have trouble talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't mean that I don't have what to say. I have a lot to say. In fact, I have a full belly filled with things to say, but I'm blocked. there's tremendous pressure inside me that is preventing me from talking. It says the dibur is mitzumtzum by them, by those who are slumber, and the thing is, it builds pressure. It's like people, when do people get in trouble? No. People get in trouble, if they have money problems and they get parking tickets, and being they don't have money to pay the parking tickets, they put it in a drawer and forget about them. As if that'll make it go away. And the thing is that they do it because they cannot sustain the pressure of the need to pay the fine and their inability to pay it. So what they choose to do is to hide it away, to put it away, as if to put it away from their mind.
They put it away first. They give you 3 months to pay it.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is that not only don't the tickets go away, the DMV, will come, demanding its money. But worse than that, the tickets also don't go away by you. You are pushing it away in order to push it away from your mind. The only thing that you're not doing, you're not pushing it away. You're just pushing it deeper into your subconscious. And there it builds and builds and builds. And sooner or later, you're exploding at everybody else. You don't know what the heck is going on with you. And you don't even know why. I mean, it ain't that bad, Byron, because you have all these tickets in your drawer, in your stomach. That's the way it is. When a person doesn't speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu, doesn't mean there isn't anything to talk about. But the reasons, all the things that he should be talking about are accumulating. And they are becoming pressurized. And they pressure him. It's mitzumtzum. Yeah, all that time when the people were chishiv ilmim, people were deaf and mute. Achshav, now, when we hear the dvarim of the chachams, when the dibur comes out, it comes out, it basically explodes out of the gate. You know what I mean? It's like when people have arguments, it's very common, in by couples. When people don't solve their differences in a productive way, before they actually speak, they actually say what they want to say, they already had a conversation, that conversation in their own minds with their partners and their spouses. I will say this, and she will answer that, and to this I will answer this, and to this she will answer that. By the time you actually say the first thing, it's actually the fifth argument down the line. All the four arguments that you had in your mind, all the four, give and go, that you had in your mind were arguments that were escalating. So by the time you come out, with the first thing, it's already the fifth one, with all the frustrations and with all the pressure. Basically, you're blowing the other person out of the water. What the heck brought that about? Where did that come from?
In family therapy, that's called green stepping.
Green stepping?
Remember that in America, that they had this, when you would buy things at the grocery store, you get little stamps to put in a book,
Uh-huh.
and you fill up the book, green stamps and also top value.
Yeah, yeah,
And then when you get enough saved up, then you can cash them in or something.
yeah,
So the idea of green stamping is that the couples will go a long time and they keep pasting these
yeah, yeah.
stamps in the book, and then
It all
one
explodes.
little thing happens and
It's just a little thing. All of a sudden, yeah, but you did this and you did that and you did this and you did that and so forth. So that's what Rabbeinu says. That all that time that the people were deaf and mute, now when a dibur comes out, it literally explodes, with great strength. Bivchinas kibor koyach oised dvarim. Those of mighty force that create his dibur. This alludes to the dibur that comes out with great strength. Koyach, and that strength, Bali Klaya Eloga, that actually reaches the organs that are in charge of progenation, of giving birth, by the person himself. Personally, by a person himself, this force enables a person to start doing Torah mitzvahs that are productive, that actually ascend, that actually bring about benefits to all the upper worlds. So he himself is becoming always barren, as it were. He becomes productive. But it also has the spiritual benefit and influence of causing actual barren women to give birth. Because what's happening to the person is, until now he was blocked. He was barren. He couldn't give birth spiritually. Because the Toldoseim shel Tzadikim, the offspring of Tzadikim, are Torah and Masim Tovim. That's the real children. And if a person is sleeping his life, that he is barren. He's collecting all this fire in his belly, but he's all dressed to party with nowhere to go. But when it actually comes out, not only does it have it has the effect of, how do you call it, bestowing a special providence to barren women. Pkida Sakoras. Barren women, barren existences suddenly become cured by the person himself, and universally, actually, by women who could not give birth, suddenly can give birth. B'tchina, says Yaakov Avinu said to Reuven, you are my elder. It means that the firstborn son of Yaakov, was the very first drop that ever came out of it. Yaakov Avinu was totally clean, was totally pure. So the first drop that ever came out of Yaakov Avinu became Reuven. Yaakov, what did Yaakov Avinu said? You are the genesis, the beginning of my strength. So we see here that birth is the result of strength. The Hainu, Batchane Ador. What are these organs that give birth? What are we talking about? Hainu says, Hainu Batchane Ador. Batchane Ador means the trusters of the generation. The people in the generation that genuinely and really trust the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Trustees.
No. Trusters. These are not the people that Hashem trusts. These are the people who trust Hashem. Batchane Hador. Those who trust, those are the people, Batchane Hador. Shehem Pchinas Klei Aloda. They are the vessels of progenation, of giving birth. They receive that force. Those who yearn for Hashem, meaning those who trust Him. Why would you yearn to Hashem if you didn't trust Him? When a person is in distress, who does he yearn for? He yearns for somebody who can actually help him. So those who are Koivei Hashem, those who wish for Hashem, or those who actually trust Hashem. That's why they yearn automatically. It's not something that, you artificially make yourself, wish for Hashem, which is also great. Don't get me wrong. But those that automatically, that's the most this is the most immediate instinctive reaction. They have a need, they turn to Hashem. It's because they genuinely trust Hashem. That's why they call Batchane Ador. Those who trust who genuinely trust Hashem in the generation. They are the one who receive the spiritual koyach to give birth. All the different births, gashmis, all the bounty that flows down, that comes through bitochen. The more bitochen a person has, the easier and the more assured his Yeshua is. The more assured and certain his deliverance is going to be. The eyes of everyone will look up to you, and you give them their sustenance in the right time. The more bitochen, the more certain you are that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to give you, the more certain is that the Kadosh Baruch Hu will give it to you when you need it, right then and there. And it's something that you can't fake. You can ask a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you should ask a Kadosh Baruch Hu, to have this kind of trust. It's going to be okay. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to help me. Who put me into that? This quagmire. How did I get there? My own foolishness brought me there. Fine, but there's nothing that happens without a Kadosh Baruch Hu wanting it to happen that way. What does He want from me? What He wants from me is to turn to Him and to trust Him so much as if it's already taken care of. Once I do that, it will be taken care of, right then and there. Yeah, but how do I know that He will really save me? Like nobody in my life ever looked at me. Everybody just abandoned me when I was a kid or whatever it is. I cannot take anybody for granted. How do I know that Hashem is not going to say, the best thing for you is right there, that you shouldn't get help? How do I know it's not going to happen that way? That means that is the face of not trusting Hashem. When you trust Hashem, you trust Hashem. You don't trust Hashem that Hashem will give it to you. I remember I told you that I once went in New York and from the country back to Borough Park, and along the highway in the Catskills, along the highway was raining cats and dogs. You couldn't see anything. I was just like you couldn't see. I'm 3 feet from the car, and I was in a bus, and the traffic was crawling. It wasn't really moving, and we were traveling by bus. The school buses, the yellow school buses, that drove people to from the country, and suddenly the bus driver says, I lost my brakes. I can't brake. Now the thing is that the bus was moving maybe 20 miles an hour, maybe 10 miles an hour, right? It's just so and he went, and sure enough, the bus bumped into the car in front of us quite gently. The effect of a bus bumping into a car, gently as it were. No. It's just like jumped. It's like law later, like somebody getting kicked in the behind. Whoops. That's all that happened. Okay. But obviously, we couldn't go on traveling on a bus without brakes. So he pulled off the road and got on the side. And one of there was a very frum woman, a Hasidic woman, Williamsburg, that was on the bus, and she was petrified. She was hysterical. What's going to be? And I remember I looked at her, I said, what's your problem? We're actually standing, waiting for the next bus. There was a CB radio. Another bus is coming to take us. We were standing at out of the road. We're no longer traveling. I said, I told her, there's a Kodesh Baruch Hu in the world. What are you worried about? We're inside the bus. What do they care? We're inside the bus. I mean, we're dry. We're not moving. Help was on the way. And she was hysterical. And I told her, what's wrong? I thought, there's a Hashem in the world. And what she told me was the classic Fruma Pikarsis. Yo, but Madaf Zoicheza. Yes, but you have to be worthy of Hashem's deliverance. How more from can you be? Oh, I don't deserve. That's concealed from heresy. That's exactly what it is. To believe that the Kodesh Baruch Hu will only deliver you if you warrant it is to believe the Kodesh Baruch Hu is a bear. Chas v'chalila. He's looking out for you. If you're going to be worth it, then maybe I'll think about it and maybe I will help you. This is what you wouldn't behave that way. Kodesh Baruch Hu would behave that way. We all have that. We're all carrying imprints from our childhood that force us into that, default mode that we're really not sure. Our parents treated us this way. Our teachers treated us this way. Everybody who we knew treated us that way. So this is our default mode. I'll see it when I'll believe it when I'll see it, right? But of course it's wrong. When you'll see it, you'll know it. You have to believe it before you see it. Because when you believe it totally, completely, we have complete trust, you see it. But what happened if Hashem doesn't, if Hashem doesn't deliver me? If you have complete trust in Kodesh Baruch Hu, that means that, all right, so it means it shouldn't happen. It's just as okay. I mean, in my view, it should be solved. In my view, I have to be held. But I'm not the one who really knows what is good for me. I trust the Kodesh Baruch Hu. I trust that He will help me. And if He won't help me, that's the help that I need. And when you suddenly calm down, okay, bam, this is when the Yeshua comes. When you relax in your mind, and you're not there, I trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh will help me in the back of the mind, I'm not that sure. Blah, 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 blah. When that voice disappears and you just say, okay, I know Hashem will help me, and if He doesn't help me, that's my help. And the pressure is gone, the Yeshua follows almost immediately. And with this, B'ezrat Hashem, we will finish today. B'ezrat Hashem, I wish everybody a good Shabbos. And as I said, from Motzei Shabbos on, all the shurim will be 9 o'clock, because tonight we're moving the clock forwards. 2 o'clock is going to become 3 o'clock. Kol Tov, good Shabbos to everyone.
9 o'clock?